We're just going to review some forms and exercises as we do each week when we're drawing our whimsical houses. Today's going to be a cylinder type house, so we're going to start with some cylinders with that flattened oval right on top. And to make it whimsical, we try to curve those sides in some way. And make that bottom a little bit rounder of a curve. Or since it's practice, you can go ahead and stick in the whole oval just to see the difference between the top and bottom. This, of course, is only the case when the horizon line is above the cylinder and we can see the top. If it happens to be a very tall house and the horizon line is way down here, then we would see the top of that cylinder in a rounded oval. Or if it was closer to the horizon line, it would be a flatter oval, flatter curve. And then windows. We know that if it is on the right side, the window will have its thickness on the right. And if it's on the left, it'll have its thickness on the left. And if it's in the middle, it'll have the thickness all the way around. We've also learned that anytime there is a crossbar in a window, that it will overlap the thickness line. Oh, I'm going to get my crossbar in there. The thickness will be on the right and it'll overlap or be overlapped by those crossbars. So that's a yes. What we don't want to do is have the crossbars stop at the thickness like this. So that's a no. And then whenever we are adding something to the building, or have a piece of building that is attached, we want to add on instead of cut out. It's the reverse. Let's say I want to put in a little support beam here, or just a piece that sticks out. Let's use that same shape. It's on the right. If I want to cut it out, I put the thickness on the right, but I want it to pop out. So I have to do the opposite and put it on the left. And over here too, if this was a window, the thickness would go on the left, but since it's popping out, thickness will be on the right. I think that's about it. That's going to be needed for our very last fairy house. Let me show you what we're drawing today. We've got a house with a flower for the roof. I drew it too flat in my first drawing, so I had to bring out the markers and redefine it. It's going to have basically a big sunflower that's acting as the roof. And then we'll add another littler flower for like the canopy over the doorway. So I'm going to grab a nice piece of paper, some cardstock, something a little thicker. Oh, I'm also going to let my dog out of my room real quick. I'll go ahead and start with this curly stemmed roof. So right up near the top of my paper, I'm going to have the end of the stem and curl it around like the number 6. That's going to start our curl right at the top of the paper. And then we'll just add the other side. And I want this line to keep going, but it's going to be overlapped by this piece, so I have to jump over to the other side and continue to stem down. Same thing over here, I have to jump over this part and keep going, continue to stem down. Make it a little wider as it goes. And then we'll start drawing the sepals, the little kind of green leaves that stick to the stem. We're just going to do some petal-like shapes all the way around. They'll get skinnier at the edges. And then I'll start adding in some petals. And this time I'm going to make them a little more rounded than the leaf parts. They were just a little too similar in shape when I first did this drawing, so let's differentiate a little bit more with some rounded petals. And we want the overall shape to be kind of like a witch hat. They're going to go more down first and then spread out. I'm going to add another layer, just going downward. Skinnier on the edges. In the next row, I'm going to go ahead and have them stick out to the side. One more layer of these longer petals, just sticking out in between the ones that we just drew previously. And there's our main rooftop. We're going to have another one of these, just smaller. That's going to be the cover for the front door here. So I'm going to do that same process all over again. Over to the right, I'll start with my little stem curling. Maybe I'll go the other way this time. Put an oval there. Start that stem curling around and down into a couple little sepals. Let me zoom in on that. I got a little bit thick there. That's okay. And for this one, some of the petals are going to run into the side of the house, so they're going to go straight up. And then they'll come back down like normal. Another row. And then one more that goes more out to the side. And we're going to connect up these two rooftops by having the side of the building come down this way. I'm going to have mine get a little wider as it gets down to the base. I'm not actually going to draw the bottom yet though. That's going to be for later. First, I'm going to work out my doorway. So holding up this flower, we need a couple of support beams. I'm just going to draw a little diagonal stick to the back. And another one over here. And we'll make it branch off a little bit like that over there. What's important is that these two are not the same placement on the paper. They're not evenly lined up on their bases. The one on the right is going to be slightly higher to give us some perspective. And I'm going to go ahead and connect those two with an archway. It might go behind the flower a little bit. That's going to be the archway of the door. Actually, I'll do two lines so that it has a frame. You can also do one across the ground. It's kind of a little welcome mat or a little path. And on this doorway, we're going to have a little opening, just like a window. It's on the right side of the paper, so it's going to have its thickness on the right side. And I'll just color that in black. And the theme of this house is flowers, so I'm going to put some petals that go all the way around this little door window. Maybe put in a little doorknob or a door handle. And I'll outline my little welcome area with some little flat stones going all the way around. It's going to get shorter at the curve there, longer on the sides. Hi there.
There we go. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little fairy cottage today.
Sorry I'm late. My bike ride took a little longer.
Oh, that's all right.
Wanted to tell you though, at Hobby Lobby, these guys are half price.
Which
No,
one is that?
40%.
Oh, the mixed media. Yeah, that's a nice one.
And the ones with the yellow thing, Ashbury or Ash something.
Yeah, I know the brand you're talking
So
about. They always have the yellow covers.
right, they're 40% off, guys. FYI.
Ooh, all right. Now that I have some idea of where the ground is, I'm just going to do a bumpy little texture like there's some moss growing all around the base of this little fairy house. I'm going to try to make it uneven so the moss can creep up a little bit in some spots and recede in others. I'll have some behind the doorway here also. Behind here. And then I'll start placing some windows. I'll have one over here, and since my wall is slanted, I have to follow that same slant. And this window is on the left, so the thickness is going to be on the left, but if you want to put in some crossbars, I would do that first. I think I'll put in 2 little vertical sticks. So that I can draw the thickness behind them. Oops. No, got a little out of control. Good thing is, I'm going to color in the negative space all dark. So if your thickness is too thick, you can just thin it down by coloring a little farther up. And this window is also going to have a border around it, a frame that pops out. So we were talking about how when we're cutting out windows, their thickness is on the left because they're on the left. But if we want the opposite to happen, excuse me, and we want it to pop out, we have to switch that thickness to the other side, get the opposite effect. So I'm going to put the thickness on the right side of this window frame and have it pop out a little bit. And then if you have room, you can put a smaller window maybe above the door here. Have to follow the direction of the walls. Mine's kind of diagonally that way, so my window has to also go diagonally that way. It's on the right, so the thickness of the window is going to go on the right. And if I want to put another frame around it, I can draw my second oval, and the thickness has to go on the left, so it'll pop out. Let's go ahead and put one more window right smack dab in the middle, and we'll practice using the thickness right in the middle also. So for this window, actually I'm going to do my crossbars first, because this one I think I'm going to put a little lattice kind of a crossbar. I'm going to draw some really skinny cylinders, 3 of them, going one way. And then to make that sort of lattice diamond pattern, I have to draw in between them, put some sticks the other way. Maybe one more there. And the thickness is going to go all the way around. I'll just color in each of these diamonds so that my little crossbars can stay white. If you happen to have a whiteout correction pen or a white gel pen, a lot easier way to do this would just be to color the whole thing black and then go back over with your white pen. But I'm going to just do it the hard way while I only have my ballpoint pen. That's the thickness of the window. I'm going to put another line around it to be the frame. And the opposite is true. We could see the thickness all the way around on the inside, so the opposite has to be true of the one on the outside, so we won't be able to see the thickness at all. I'm not sure if you want to be muted, Kristen, but you are muted, just so you know.
Yeah, I had a phone call, so
Oh, okay.
now I'm unmuted.
Got it.
I remembered. And to add some little decorations, some of these windows we might have little things growing, something like a fairy-sized ivy or little creeping plant that puts a couple of leaves, little flowers around. And we can also stick in some texture for the base. Maybe the base part of this building is made out of little pebbles. So I'm going to do a little exercise where I'm not going to lift my pen at all. I'm just going to go around and around and around and try to fit these stones together. What usually happens is that I'll make a big one or a couple of big ones, and then I'll come back and try to fill in the gaps with little ones. I'm just going to drag my pen along, not worry about it too much, just get kind of a pebbly texture. I'll add some texture to the house itself, doing some somewhat curved lines that run horizontally, kind of dragging my pen around. So that I can differentiate the walls from the windows and from the door. In fact, on the door, I think I'm going to do some texture that goes straight up and down so that we can tell it's made out of something different. Maybe on the window frames too. I'm trying to make them not so uniform. I don't want them to look like stripes necessarily, more like wood grain. So I try to group them together, 2 little lines here, 3 little lines there, rather than just going line, 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 line. On the edge of this frame, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of shading. Going it dark at the bottom where there's no light, and then as it curves, you get lighter, 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 farther and farther apart. Same thing over here. Close together at the bottom, make it dark. And then I'll go farther apart and farther apart and farther apart until we get to the white. For the inside of this window, I'm going to radiate my strokes. When you think of a clock, how all of them, or the hands point to the center, or all the marks on the clock point to the center. Radial alignment going there.
I'm also going to add some texture to the stem just because it's a different part of the flower. I'm going to do, again, something kind of like wood grain. Just running some lines along the same curve that I drew. And then to help this house feel small and tiny, I'm going to put in some big plants here. So I'll have a stem of something, kind of like when we do our fairies and we draw these giant flowers. Gonna have some big leaf shapes coming out. You have some nice tall grass in the background. Maybe a dandelion over here. Those big spiky leaves. You could also put some nice big clover down in the moss. And some heart-shaped leaves there. Overlapping is key. We want some leaves in front of other leaves, some flowers in front of other flowers, all clustered together. If you want to draw a little pathway, be sure you keep the curves very, very squished, very, very flat. If we do it up and down, it'll look more like a waterfall or like it's on a hill. If you want it to be fairly on flat ground. We have to keep these curves very, very short, very smushed. We'll put some more stones along the edge here. We still have 20 minutes left, so you can color it. You can keep on adding different foliage, little mailbox, a flag, the ladybug on one of these leaves. Whatever little bonuses you want to add, you can go for it. I think I'll go ahead and add some shading just with a regular pencil on mine. I'm going to say that the light source is maybe coming from the upper right. And so everything on the left, I'm going to color in shadow. And this is our final week of Whimsical Houses. Next week at this time, we'll be using our tablets, learning how to do digital art.
Hey,
Hello.
Hey, Nikki.
I'm here. Also, my picture still isn't there.
That's strange.
Huh.
There's your name, Nikki the Great, and Terrible.
There's no steak. Where's the steak?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yep, I can't do anything from my side.
Okay, I have a question for you, Betsy teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I have an open window with a curtain hanging, but do I put glass on it or how do I make it look like it's breezy?
Let's take a look. Like it's breezy.
Do I put a line here to make it a window?
Your camera is particularly dark today. I'm waiting for it to clear up. Yeah, put a line. I see it now. I'm gonna redraw it on mine. So you've got like your curtain coming out this way, right?
Huh?
So if it's from a window, you just put your window on the inside here. Whoops. Is that what you mean?
Well, it's kind of on the side of my house, so the window kind of wraps around the house.
Oh, it wraps around the house. Okay. So then if you've got just a little bit of it showing.
Look how easy she does that.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're gonna just make it flatter, squish it in more.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, quick, is anyone here watch Troll Hunters?
I watched it.
Oh, there you go. Stephanie watched it.
What do you think?
It was okay. I like Mandalorian better.
Eh,
And the Umbrella Club, the Umbrella Academy.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that one yet. A lot of people do fan art of it, so I figured it's got to be good if a lot of people are doing fan art.
Well, it's kind of weird and gruesome, but
Weird and gruesome. Okay.
I'm not, don't usually watch that. So there's a young man that does a heck of a job acting in it. He acts as an older, his character is an older person
Mm-hmm.
trapped in a,
Young man's body.
A little Freaky Friday type action there.
no, it's a timeline thing. So he's got all these
Oh.
experience, and yet he's had to come back and he's trapped in the,
Trapped in a young person's body.
and he pulls it off.
Mm.
Trained assassin too. It's got a lot of twist and weirdness to it, which I kind of like.
I like twist and weirdness. I'm not as keen on gruesome.
How that catches you by surprise once in a while. You're going along with this, trying to figure out the storyline, and then oh,
Yeah. Ouch.
Interesting.
how am I going to get that on my brain?
Yeah, you can't unsee it.
Maybe I won't watch it. Well, I'll wait on that one.
No, but then there'll be some little funny thing they do, and it's all forgotten. It's wiped out. So
Okay.
I likes it. Oh yeah, you just flatten those curtains out and they take off.
Yeah.
I got my tablet going what is it called? For the
Wacom.
digi. Huh?
Graphics tablet or Wacom.
And fire alpaca? Did you have fire alpaca?
Yep. I had to have help though.
Right.
I made something even. I really like it. I didn't
Stairways, flying flags, hands.
get all that behind the flower. But my goal is, see, I did stairs on this picture and a flag that's drooping. So every time I draw, I'm going to have to do stairs, and hands I like pretty good. But I'm going to have to practice stairs and flags because I want that drapey
Yeah.
material aspect like it. I want to be able to do the mother. Okay.
Just 5 more minutes, and I'm going to head over to fairy class. The last fairy class. Sad day for Stephanie.
Oh, fairies are like dinosaurs. They just keep coming back. Dinosaurs, dragons, fairies. There's
We've done a
certain
lot of
things.
animal things too. Before I never did animals. It was all anime and cartoons, and then we just started those ballpoint pen animals and haven't.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at least it's not pears and apples, you know? How many pears and apple classes have you had, Betsy?
2. I had one in charcoal where we did still life, so it was a lot. Actually, it was a lot of pottery. It wasn't so much fruit because they had to, store it all at the school. So it was a lot of teacups, a lot of vases, bottles. And then the other one was oil painting, and she did the lemons and oranges, and she just peel them fresh so we could paint them for that 5-hour span. And it's amazing, just in those 5 hours, those lemon skins would just start withering and wrinkling, and you had to get it down kind of quick. They're under some pretty hot lights there. You know what gets fun though is when you can tell a story with your still life. That was the fun part for me, when they said, okay, get some items that look like they might have belonged to someone, or
Really?
just left their desk.
Story was still alive? Really?
Yeah. So I was thinking of Bilbo Baggins and his desk and what he might have at his desk. And so I got a candle, and I got a little pipe and a map of, not Mordor, what's the other place? Middle Earth. I had a map of Middle Earth. And my brother happened to collect the Lord of the Rings sword, so he had a sting knife. I put that in there. So it was a neat little painting by the time I was done with it. It got chosen for some kind of, not award, but they needed to show work to somebody who was evaluating their accreditation as a college.
Oh, yeah.
So they had to show that their students were learning something. So mine got picked for that, and I was so happy, but they never gave it back to me. So yeah, I lost that painting.
That's not nice.
But the students came up with some interesting things. There was like a fortune teller painting with a crystal ball and, some tarot cards. And
oh, yeah.
Somebody did like a bakery. They did all kinds of breads and a cup of tea. Somebody did, I think they didn't want to spend too much money on props. They just ordered out McDonald's, and they saved all the wrappers and cups and things. So they just had different kind of wrappers. Somebody had just eaten.
My granddaughter's making earrings out of play food.
Really?
Yeah, little dangly play foods and stuff.
Yeah.
$10 for them.
Oh, cute.
Sounds cute.
Boys are wearing them. That's the,
Wow, surprising.
Oh, boys wear all sorts of things now. It's makeup, the whole
Makeup,
9
kilt.
yards.
All going. Androgynous.
yeah.
All right, it's about that time to show how far you've gotten.
Okay.
Ta-da!
Let's see, Kristen.
There's
Ooh,
mine.
got into some color. Very nice.
Oh, there's some color on there. That looks
Pretty.
nice. Oh, I like those big plants making it look smaller. Wow.
But mine is nothing original, and it just looks like Betsy's, only not as good. Oh, well. Next class, I know, we're on our own.
That's right, you're on your own.
Let's see yours. See? Oh, yours
I
is
got a
so
bird, I
fun. A
think.
bird. And the curtains are very
Wow.
cool.
Cute.
Plus, you put in a sort of a square window that's got all kinds of stuff growing on the bars. That's so nice.
Yeah. Fun, huh? Just to make a mistake, you figure it out.
That's
And
right.
do you have a heart-shaped window on there?
Upside down heart.
Upside down heart-shaped window. Yes, so cool.
If I was good, I'd put fairies hanging out of it, but I'm not good enough.
No.
Next time. Next time.
That was fun, Betsy, me coming in.
All right. I will
Don't
see you
play
guys over in fairy class then.